This is One on One. We're pleased to be joined by William Degel, CEO of Uncle Jack's Steakhouse. How you doing?
I'm great, Steve. Always great.
Born and raised where?
Flushing, Queens.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Met fan?
Big Met fan.
Hardcore?
Jet fan.
Jet fan.
Went to Shea Stadium as a little kid.
Yeah, Giants, Yankees.
Threw snowballs at everybody.
You did, and you admit that.
Of course.
The cops never got you.
It was fun. Back then it was allowed. It was Shea Stadium.
Stop. And by the way, can tell everybody, Uncle Jack's Steakhouse, the history,
Yes.
your grandfather?
Yeah. So my grandfather was Jack Foley. My Uncle Jack was Jack Foley Jr., was a hiring boss, longshoreman union. They had a Columbus Circle speakeasy. So that's how, and he was my godfather. So growing up, hearing the legacy, the stories from my mother, I always loved like traditional antique shops, old things. So then when I started bartending and segueing cooked, I opened up Uncle Jack's Steakhouse dedicated to my godfather.
So the longshoreman, you don't mean the ILL?
It was the Longshoreman Union. I don't know the exact name.
Did you work over in the docks at all?
No, but my father did. My uncle put everybody to work. That's how my father met my mother. You know, he dated, and then my dad got a job.
Classic New York story.
Right, yeah.
For people who don't understand this, it opened up 1996.
1996. Bayside, Queens, Bell Boulevard. That was the first one.
Describe the feel of the place.
The feel of the place is old brick walls, mahogany, very detailed, very classy, luxurious, copper tin ceilings, velvet drapery, like an old burlesque speakeasy bordello type atmosphere. This place is the meat house I opened in Duluth, Georgia, just a few months ago in last September. That's got an outdoor, that's a different feel. That's more like an industrial meat factory warehouse.
Georgia?
Yeah, Georgia, Duluth, Georgia.
Of all the places in the country,
yeah, I have
guy from Queens goes, hey, I'm going to be in Georgia.
I had partners that live in Georgia. I went down and visited them. They're my family members, my sister-in-law, wife's uncles, other people moved to Georgia. Then when I was filming on the Food Network, a lot of Georgia developers building these big buildings were calling me and saying, hey, we'll come down here, we'll give you cheap rent, we'll help you build the restaurant. Nothing like you get here in the city. So they're more very proactive. They want the brands, they want the name. They'll make the money on the higher end real estate in the corporate buildings. So I went down there, I looked at a lot of things. I came across this location. I said, you know what? Let me segue out of the city. Let me challenge myself. Let me jump in naked. That's how I look at it.
Right.
I'm getting a little too secure in my world. Let me see what's up. And that's what I did.
By the way, go back, the Food Network, you had a heck of a run there, 2012, 2014. Restaurant, Stakeout.
Yeah. What happened with that, somebody ran an ad in Craigslist for a tough boss.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden I get a call from producers. Now I think it's lawyers trying to set me up. So I'm tough on the producers. It's because they call me up and say, oh, we ran this ad, we want to talk with you about a TV show, you know, that you're really tough on your employees. I'm like, so I didn't know who they were. I do a background check. I see what they come interview me. So
Hold on, go back for a second.
Go ahead.
What do you mean you do a background check?
I checked them out. I have my friends, NYPD, the ex-cop. I said, do a background. Who's these producers?
You made
Are
sure
they
they were
real?
okay, right.
I didn't want to, I didn't
You
know
want
what
any
they were.
Fugazi guys?
Yeah, Fugazi guys.
I knew they'd get a laugh out of you.
So
Go
that's
ahead.
a good one. So what happened was they said 100 people replied to the Craigslist ad.
Go ahead.
So 95 were one names. Five times one name was mentioned. And nobody else was ever mentioned twice. So the first person they called was that, and that was me. So I took that I'm like, okay, so I'm a passionate, tough boss. Yes, I am. I come from the streets. I'm self-taught. I can do it all. I'm willing to do anything. So to me, it's war. And I want people to take their job serious, and I want them committed to my guests.
You raise your voice sometimes.
Sure, always. That's who I am. I'm loud. And I'm proud.
And that's also why you get results.
Today, people are distracted and they don't have focus and they're not as determined as they used to be. So they steer off course very easy. So they're not finishers.
You're old school.
Yeah.
You learned that from your family.
Well, my father worked 2 jobs his whole life. So he left 5:30 in the morning to come home 12:30 at night. My mother had to work. We had to go to Catholic school. We had to have newspaper routes. I had to shovel snow. So at 10 years old, I was working the streets. I was dealing with customers. I had to collect. I had to get paid. I had to pay for my papers. I had to do these things. I had to protect my snow route. And if other people tried to take my snow route, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing it for 25. No, you're not. Get out of here.
But you take that into the restaurant business.
Of course. I take it into life and everything. I build houses in the Hamptons. It's my hobby. I love what I do.
Okay, real quick. Help us understand something. The difference between Georgia, New York, the places.
Okay. Georgia, we're in the suburbs. New York, we're in a city. We're in the boroughs, much more population. Georgia is a little more pro-business. They're not as over-regulating today. They're not taxing the crap out of us. The Department of Health is not looking to us as a revenue stream. They're not forcing us to pay these labor rates where we got to pass it on to consumer and then they can't afford to come out to eat no more. So different things.
Out on Long Island, you had a place, what's it called?
It's called Jack Shack. It's all natural, like organic, fast casual eatery. So you walk in, you get shakes, salads, fresh juices, burgers, tacos, anything you can, like a cool kitchen.
Right.
But everything's made fresh in front of you. You know where the product's coming from. It's all direct source. It's affordable because the buying power from Uncle Jack's.
My confusion about you is that I'm trying to figure out with all these different places that you're so hands-on, you're so engaged. I know you got good people. We have great people here too as well. Now you're starting a podcast as if you don't have enough to do?
Well, you know what?
What's the podcast?
A podcast is going to be 1 hour of my week dedicated to people that are in my profession or understand what it takes to run a hospitality industry. Today, the rules, the regulations are changing at the speed of light. How are you informed? Most people are affected and then try to get educated. So they're more reactive than being proactive.
So what's the someone finds the they find you because they'll find you because you have the great big following right now. What's the podcast look like?
The podcast, right now, it's going to start off in my desk, in my workspace above Bayside. But slowly, I want to create a cool studio. I can cook, I can bartend, I could talk with anyone. So what I want to make is a comfortable studio. I can cook, I can make a drink, we can hang out, we can talk business. I have different guests come at different times, talk about social events, talk about hiring, firing, leading, motivating, never giving up, prevailing, things like that.
You know, I'm fascinated by leadership. I ask great leaders this question all the time after writing a book called Lessons in Leadership. So your number one lesson that you've learned about leadership is?
What? Never quit.
You get knocked down. You get rejected.
Never quit. I love it. I invite it.
Someone tells you can't do it.
I'm going to do it 1,000 times better the next time.
No one's going to knock you down.
No, can't stop. I'm creating software for companies that are working for me. I'm evolving their software so we can oversee and run the business better and not let lawyers attack us, rape, and pillage us. So that's what I'm doing today. So I need a legal department, but I need to run the business. So I can't afford a legal department, so I have to create this software and work with these companies, and I'm giving them my brains. They'll wind up making billions on it, but it's necessary today in my business.
You know what you need?
Yeah.
4 other guys like you.
Yeah, well, that's yeah. I need Yabba Dabba Do. You know, when I was growing up, I watched Fred Flintstone every morning, right? I remember the one when they made other Fred Flintstones.
I know.
I said I need to do that.
I need to get well. William Degel.
Yes.
Is the CEO of a great place called Uncle Jack's Steakhouse, but he's got 8 other things going too. Thank you, partner.
No problem, Steve.
Thank you, brother.
Anytime, buddy.
You got it. Stay right there. Don't get out. What do you got to go do your podcast? Go sit down. This is PBS. We wait until this commercial. We don't have
I
commercials.
was going to give you some pointers on ties.
Oh, you can't. This guy, see, a Jersey guy got to take a hit from a guy from Queens.
Jersey.
We'll be right back after this.
Nobody knew that Jersey existed until The Sopranos came on TV. All right?
One on One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One on One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Englewood Hospital and Medical Center, Caldwell University, TD Bank, Qualcare Inc., Kessler Foundation, the North Ward Center, and by the New Jersey Office of the Insurance Fraud Prosecutor. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.